felt like a few of your players, when I asked them about how well they played, how well the unit played on Sunday, they kept turning to how sloppy it was and how there were other things that they missed. I mean, did you see it as a good game? It looked like a good game.
There was good and bad. There was definitely, it wasn't our best game, by any means. And, there's definitely things that us coaches need to clean up. I could clean up with play calling, players, execution. There's definitely a lot of good on that tape too. So good and bad, you come away from the game and say, let's continue to build on this good and correct the bad.
With all the good things there were, how frustrating was it, especially on the one drive ended with the interception, but still those last two drives, they ate a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And then the last one with the third down conversions, took a lot of time, 8 minutes off the clock. How frustrating was that, especially at that stage of the game?
Yeah, I think you said it, is you got to get off on third down. There was a couple, situations there where we got them behind the sticks, on first down, second down, and we let them, scramble around and extend plays. So just goes into cleaning up some of that execution stuff that, if we do that, even on the drive that ended in the interception, we're off quicker, right? The ball's back to our offense a little bit quicker. So things to clean up there in terms of, being able to get off the field and, field position game and that type of game and all that stuff would benefit us.
Just one touchdown surrender, though, in 12 quarters. Where do you think things kind of clicked? Can you kind of pinpoint anything?
You're saying over the course of the last
3 games?
Yeah, I think the players are playing good football. I think that's what it comes down to is the preparation that they put in throughout the week. They practice really well. They take their preparation very serious. The meetings have been really on point, and that just goes into, being where your feet are every day and really just focusing on maximizing each day to go win one game at a time. And so I think the players are playing at a high level.
There were a couple times Sunday where Gino just had all sorts of time. What goes through your head as a coordinator when that happens?
We got a rush. There's a couple where I thought we kind of our motor wasn't where up to the standard, so we got to keep rushing and force this rushing coverage. You can't have those cover guys sitting back there all day trying to cover some really good receivers, right? So got to continue rushing.
Feels like Buda's been really effective rushing the passer, especially over the last 3 games. What goes into kind of the feel of it, when to kind of blitz him and when to kind of have him?
Some feel, some very structured. We know we want to get to these, pressures on third down or normal downs, depending on the situation, completely dependent on what's the game plan, what do we think we're going to get from them at that time. And then, he's being effective with it because he's a good blitzer. He is low and has wiggle and he's hard to block,
When it comes to Buda, a lot of teams commit a lot of resources to blocking him, whether it's a lineman, tight end, multiple receivers. What do you think about that, and what does it do for the defense?
There's definitely a where is 3 type of mindset, and sometimes that's okay with me because I'm still going to try to get 3 to the football because he's so effective with it. But it also can create confusion for offenses and allow some other people to potentially get in there and make plays. So it kind of goes into, I think, a question we talked about last week was putting certain stress on certain people to take stress off others, like with what we asked Buda to do to get around that football. And he's got to be able to sift through a lot of traffic and blockers and big guys getting on him. But that allows some other people to get either one-on-ones or be able to go hit the ball for free,
What Houston did with him last year when they sent 3 guys, have you ever seen that before?
I don't know if those type of things are intentional, but there's definitely times where he gets some attention when he probably shouldn't be on that specific call like that. Yeah.
The defensive line success has been, it's a team effort, but Dante Stills has really stood out. What is he doing that's enabling him to be so successful, especially the pass rush?
I think with the pass rush, he's got a plan in his head, and that kind of goes into the preparation of week to week. Who am I going against? What do I feel like with my skill set is going to be a beneficial rush on my opponent? So Rob and Derek do a great job with the rush meetings in terms of, this is what they do, this is their personnel, and here's some tools that you can use to combat that, but ultimately don't want to just pigeonhole guys into having to rush a certain way. So, Dante does a really good job of knowing what his plan is going into the game and putting his plan to work.
You see an overall progress in his game.
In Dante's game, consistency. That's something I've harped on him since he got here, because he'll have really good plays since day one, but then it's the plays that aren't up to his standard that I'm always on him about, and I feel like he's just played at a little bit of a higher standard more consistently. So I've been pleased with that.
Why can that be hard for guys to kind of, we see what you can do, but to do it on every play? Why is that a hard thing?
The consistency piece. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that of starting with the brain, of your ability to focus and maintain that high level of focus throughout. It's your stamina. When you're tired, guys' technique or their assignment, when they're tired, that focus kind of disappears. So several factors that go into that over the course of a long game and then over the course of a long NFL season. But I think like guys are doing a really good job of taking care of, as JG says, there are 5 buckets. When you take care of your health and you're maximizing your recovery and you're fueling your body the correct way, you're getting your sleep, and you're pouring into continuing to master the scheme, master your technique, you're going to see more consistent play.
With his mental side, with what you're talking about, the plan of attack, how have you seen that develop from maybe where it was a year ago, where it was at the beginning of his season?
I think just his preparation throughout the week, whether it's when we have structured time and meetings and practice, you see a very intentional focus on what he's trying to get done, really the whole D-line room. But then it's the work he's putting in outside of, those structured times. So, that kind of preparation is going to lead to, better performance.
Did it with Garrett last year, where later in the season, you got a rookie that's making his debut after you guys have played a bunch of games as a defensive unit. Is there a challenge with Darius knocking on the door on track to play to kind of deploy him this late in the year?
A challenge in terms of schematics or for him?
Getting into the rotation and for him.
He's been practicing and gearing up to play. I don't think there's anything that will mimic the exact game. So that's just something that you're going to have to get out there and eventually, when it is go time, he's going to have to feel that and play that. And then as that starts to build, it'll be a little bit more, used to it, accustomed to that. From a schematic standpoint, I don't think it wasn't an issue with Garrett or, when it's time for D-Rob to get out there, it's not a challenge,
When you get to game time, do you have something as specific as like a pitch count for him, or do you just let it evolve as it goes?
That's something we would discuss on an individual basis. JG, Drew, Monty, all of us together, just anybody in general. Playing time. We do it with the whole roster.
What are the tough challenges with this Vikings offense? Obviously, we know about Jefferson, but overall.
Yeah, Jefferson? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Just first off, very well coached. Kevin O'Connell does a phenomenal job, both schematically presenting challenges, but also just their execution, I think is on point. The quarterback's playing phenomenal right now. Sam Darnold's playing really well, knows where to go with the football, puts it on point. And then, like you said, you got JJ, you got Addison, you got Hockenson. There's weapons all over. Aaron Jones still running at a high level. So, and couple that with a really good O-line. They're a well-balanced attack with a good scheme and a quarterback that's playing at a high level. So there's a lot of challenges that go into that. And whatever you want to try to take away, there's going to be stress other spots. So holistic offense that's playing at a high level right now.
And going back to what you were saying about striving for consistency, especially up front, how difficult is that when you are going up against a good offensive line to just keep going, knowing there's going to be some plays where that they get you?
Yeah, I think that's every position. I think that's football. That's consistency. That's being resilient through good plays and bad plays, and being able to essentially play cleaner football, for 60 minutes, and that's what's going to help you win games.
Personally, going back to Minnesota, what do you remember about being a young coach, getting your first NFL job there?
Yeah, phenomenal organization. You know, I owe them a lot. They gave me my first opportunity in the NFL, and it's first class. It's a very fun place to play too. That stadium's going to be rocking. That skull chant's going to be going. Nothing like I think it's a noon kickoff, right, in Central Time. Nothing like a noon kickoff at the bank. So it'll be phenomenal. I got great memories there, great people that are still there that I was there that you know, really helped me get to where I'm at today.
You and Drew both think you'd be coordinators together 6 or 7 years.
I don't know, but I do remember when I first got there. Drew was phenomenal to me. Really helped me out, kind of show me the ropes a little bit, but also just talking football with him really started to shape my thought process on certain things, and you know, it was very beneficial to be around not just Drew, but a lot of people that were in that building.
What types of things did he shape your
A lot of things. You know, schematics, offense, defense, all of it.
Drew said that you and him and even JG spent a lot of time together, maybe too much time together. What are your memories of that whole aspect?
Well, I was never with JG in Minnesota, so when JG left, that's when I got there. So, but no, I didn't do it. Drew, I was in my office working, you know. Drew, he must have been talking about with JG. I was working.
How many people have come to the game?
Huh?
How many people have come to the game?
0. Yeah, don't ask me for tickets. Yeah.
Back to Darius, how curious are you what he's going to be all about? He said he
You,
hasn't.
you don't ask me for tickets either. Are you going?
I'll be there.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Do you have a sense of what you're going to get from Darius, or are you as curious as anyone? He said he hasn't played a game since the Cotton Bowl, so.
I don't know about curiosity. I'm excited whenever that time comes for him to get back out there. I know he's gonna make an impact.
Can we go
What
back
did
to
you
this?
see of him in camp? What stood out the most about him in August?
Disruption, versatility, complete game, run and pass rush. So, you know, kind of those three things. It was clear that, you know, he's gonna be a good football player.
Can we go back to the don't ask you for tickets thing?
Yeah, we
Is
can go
that
back
is
to
that for everybody? Does that go for everybody?
That goes for everybody. Home games, you gotta go through my wife. Just, you know.